It's time to look into our crystal balls and roll out the red carpet. That's right, we're going to predict 1 year in the future who's going into the WWE Hall of Fame. The class of 2026, well, we've just got over the class of 2025, headlined by Triple H, with the likes of Lex Luger, Michelle McCool, The Natural Disasters, and of course the immortal moment being Bret the Hitman Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin from WrestleMania 13. So we're going to pretty much go through the same format. We're going to go with a male superstar, a female superstar, a tag team. We're going to add in a mid-carder as well. We're going to have a non-wrestler and our immortal moment / match. NXT, welcome to the video. It's great to have you on board, and let's kick things off then. Who is going to go in as your top, I suppose, headline male act?
My headliner, I know it's quite obvious who it should be, but mine is actually Bray Wyatt. I think that he hasn't gone in yet is kind of a bit rubbish, really, and he is a headline act that should go in. I know John Cena is meant to be retiring at the end of this year, and a lot of people will probably predict him, but I think Bray Wyatt deserves to go in first before John Cena. Plus, technically, John Cena hasn't retired yet, so until he retires officially, I don't think he should be nominated yet.
Totally understand that, and I love the call for Bray Wyatt as well, because I mean, Bray has had such an impact on the industry. He's had such an impact on the fan base as well. He's sorely missed by everybody. It was truly an emotional time and tragic to see him taken so soon. Obviously, it's one of those things, I guess it's when the family is ready. That's when, I guess, when everybody else will be ready. So I think it probably is on that moment at this present time, but certainly I think it's without question he goes in one day. It's just a matter of when, not if. But absolutely love that. Obviously, Bray, multi-time champion, his creative mind as well, eater of worlds, the Fiend, obviously the last incarnation with the White Six, which now of course is being carried on by Bo Dallas as well. So yeah, totally love it.
Yeah, no, it's a case of when, really, and I feel like if he does go in, he should be the headline act.
Absolutely, I 100% agree with you. But then to go on to my selection, you said it might be most people's prediction. I don't think then mine is that original, but hey, it's there. It's John Cena. Look, I understand he's not retired yet, but of course, when he does retire, he's going to be seen as the greatest of all time. So I suppose if he's seen as the greatest of all time, it's kind of weird if he's not in the Hall of Fame. And having, him as the headline act, I think that it'd probably be a long show, folks. He's got a lot of stories I'm sure he'll go through, and I think it will probably depend on that movie schedule as well of his. But if they could fit it in where he could go straight into the Hall of Fame after he ends his career, I think it would be a nice tribute and a nice way to sort of say goodbye for now to the WWE fan base after probably having a year as a heel, maybe the final match as a babyface. We'll have to wait and see how it'll play out, but I can't imagine him not ending as a babyface. So just to carry that through to then actually thank the fans again when it comes through to Hall of Fame speech, I think would be a nice touch.
Yeah, I mean, I expect him to go in as well. My reason I didn't pick John Cena was because purely geographical, because of where WrestleMania is going to be. It's New Orleans, I believe, next year. Yeah. And I think that if they do John, New Orleans almost isn't kind of the fitting location for him. So I'm thinking like year after, depending on wherever that goes. Same with The Rock, really, is another reason why I didn't say The Rock as the headliner.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if The Rock was someone that eventually will get called in. It's a shock that he's not been put in yet, to be fair, but perhaps maybe at some point down the line he will be when the time is right. But I mean, John Cena now, he is the 17-time world champion. He's broken the Ric Flair record of 16 world championships, and regardless of whether Flair says, he's won more titles in different promotions or whatever, John Cena has won 17 world titles in the same promotion. That's certainly something that has not been done, and it is the biggest promotion. So yeah, for me, I think it does scream greatest of all time, and I think there is many within the wrestling fan base and world that would probably be up for him going into the Hall of Fame. Right then, Steve, let's move on then to our next Hall of Fame inductee. Who is going to be your top female wrestler that's going to be going into the Hall of Fame?
I was torn between two, and I'm sitting there thinking that one of them should probably be saved for a later date. So my nominee this year for next year is going to be Mickie James.
Can I give you a little quick spoiler?
Go on.
Mickie James is my selection as well.
Oh, yes. I love when we get to stay saying guesses right. That's great.
Tell us why.
Yeah, I mean, look, for the longest time, Mickie James has been one of the most just consistently influential female wrestlers, especially during like the Ruthless Aggression era. I mean, like her match with Trish Stratus at WrestleMania was one of the first matches where I ever turned around and went, wow, I should be really watching more women's wrestling. And for everything that she's achieved over the years, multi-time women's champion, being going over to TNA, leading that division, being like coming into the Royal Rumble with the TNA title, like being the first ever crossover superstar to come into a WWE event with another company's championship. It's quite an historic moment. But yeah, just like I said, her impact on the sport in general and the just everything that she's done for it, like she more than deserves to be in there.
Completely agree. She has been an inspiration to all the current generation that we've got right now, and like you say, she's done a lot in the time period that she's been wrestling. Obviously, she's main evented pay-per-views, perhaps maybe not in WWE, but she certainly had an impact. And like you said, she, the match with Trish at WrestleMania 22 was spectacular. She would go on as well to have another run in the company in the 2010s as well, after leaving TNA, which I believe started an NXT takeover match against Asuka, which was fantastic as well. She's been a part of Evolution. She's actually, outside of WWE, also created a women's pay-per-view as well, off her own back. Yep. So that deserves its credit in itself. And currently she's a judge on WWE LFG. So she's certainly got ties in amongst the company right now. Fairly sure she's on a Legends deal as well. So it only kind of makes sense that she goes into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean, I have an honorable mention, which was AJ Lee, which I feel she will go in at one point. But I think for me, she probably goes in the same time Punk goes in.
That's a really good shout, actually, because like you said, there's reason for both of them to be happy, because I'm pretty sure at the moment AJ Lee's not returned to in-ring competition, and that makes you feel like, okay, right, is she ever going to come back at this point? Because CM Punk has been back in wrestling for a few years now. It's not as if it's been one or two, and people have been clamoring for it for a very long time. Yeah. So you kind of feel like, would she then go into the Hall of Fame, or is she happy to keep the distance right now from pro wrestling? For CM Punk to go into the Hall of Fame, maybe that might be something as well that just would make both of them happy. So I love that suggestion. Yeah. Let's go with your tag team. I know you're a big tag team wrestling specialist.
To be fair, this was harder than I expected, because there aren't, like, for instance, you could have said the Hardys, I could have said Edge and Christian, but like half of them are still wrestling, and I know they want to put retired teams into the Hall of Fame, so I went with the only one that I feel that really deserves it, which is the Nasty Boys, which is Brian Knobbs and Jerry Saggs. I feel like, look, they're both retired. They are a foundation of tag team wrestling through like the golden era, and like I said, there aren't that many out there that probably should go in. Otherwise, they're all still active. So yeah, I've gone with the Nasty Boys.
I love the shout of the Nasty Boys, and apparently it was a couple of years ago where it was like Booker T made a play for them on NXT commentary. I would not be able to dig out the date of that NXT episode, but it's there in the archive somewhere for people to find. The Nasty Boys, yeah, I really enjoyed them throughout my childhood. They were a tag team that were a bit different. Obviously, throwing wrestlers into your armpits is not the modern go-to, but they certainly made it work. And look, they went on as well to do stuff as well outside of WWF after having tag team championship success. Then we go and do it in WCW as well, which of course now is currently under the WWE ownership as well. Some of the early hardcore matches as well, with the likes of Harlem Heat as well. So yeah, I mean, I personally would like to see the Nasty Boys inducted into the Hall of Fame one day. I think they certainly are of a worthy spot, but I actually have a different answer this time, and I think this is certainly a team that is definitely worthy as well. A team that has not really been seen eye to eye with WWE for many, many years, but that seems to now they've buried the hatchet, it looks like, and this tag team now looks to be under a Legends deal. I'm talking about Axe and Smash. I'm talking about Demolition, multi-time tag team champions. At one point, the longest reigning tag team champions until the New Day smashed that record, of course, back in, I believe it was 2016. But that tag team title run went on for about 25 years that they had that run going. Yeah. So yeah, they were a very special tag team. They were like obviously WWE's equivalent to the Road Warriors in the 80s, and they had huge success as well with that. It's a shame we never really got Demolition versus the Legion of Doom when they were both under WWE at the same time in the proper program, but still Demolition are a team that stand out as one of the greatest of all time, and now that there is a buried hatchet, I think they have a rightful place in that Hall of Fame.
Do you know what? Fun fact as well, one of them is actually undefeated at WrestleMania, because when they brought in Crush, one of them didn't make an appearance at WrestleMania one year, so one of them actually's got like a 4-0 at WrestleMania apparently as well. So it is a really good shout. Again, another team that I was expected to have been in there. Like, I know they put in the Natural Disasters this year, and I thought Axe and Smash would have gone in this year. It's a really good shout, to be fair. I think my brain must have sifted over them because I thought they were already going in. Otherwise, that would have also been my nomination.
Totally understand that, indeed.
The only other one I had for an honorable mention was Money Inc.
Yeah, love that. Yeah, I mean, Ted
Yeah.
DiBiase still has moments with the company as well. I mean, Owen Wrestler was in the Hall of Fame Mike Rotunda a couple of years ago under
Yeah.
the US Express with Barry Windham. So, I mean, he could be a multi-time Hall of Famer as well. And it would actually work along the lines if there was a year where Bray Wyatt went in as well, because then
Yeah. Exactly.
we would be able to make a speech on behalf. So, yeah, that certainly would be a fitting one and a great honorable mention as well. Now, who would be your mid-card selection, that one of a wrestler?
I mean, I've got 6 names written down, technically 7, and for me, they're all Hall of Famers. But if I'm going to pick one, it's William Regal. Let's be honest. The guy he's been part of NXT and wrestling for so long. Like, he's like Black and Gold era, having William Regal as my GM. For me, he's done the time. Give him his reward. Give him his Hall of Fame ring. He does, like, out of all the names I've got written down, he is guaranteed the number one who should be in the Hall of Fame.
I have William Regal on my list as well. I love that sometimes we think exactly the same. William Regal is a legend of pro wrestling. I will be honest, I admire his work a lot more now than perhaps what I did in my childhood. He was always comical in the childhood, but usually I would find the stuff funny and give the praise to the other person. But when you look, for example, when William Regal, for example, does comedy, he was besmirched with Chris Jericho peeing in the teapot. It's William's facials that make that bloody scene so amazing of what it is. But obviously in ring, he's a fantastic technical wrestler. He can mix it up, he can rough it up as well. True legitimate tough guy, been wrestling at 15 years old in Blackpool and worked his way through to WCW as Lord Stephen Regal, who, let's be fair, I think at one point was on the way towards the top of the card in WCW before they started bringing in the Hogans, the Macho Mans, and the NWO became a thing. And from that moment he would go to WWE, and like you say, he was almost like a person that would fit in very, very well, whether it was in-ring wrestling, whether it was European champion, IC champion, former King of the Ring winner, by the way, in 2008. And of course, he, like I said, a GM in NXT, had been there for the longest time. Like I say, so old with the GM role, was even named the commissioner. So William Regal's been there and done it with most things without winning the top prizes, but certainly someone that his impact on the industry is something that's going to go for generations to come.
Yeah, I mean, just as well, he was one of the first guys I realized where hometown hero is a real thing. Like, because mid-2000s, I went to watch a Raw TV taping over here in the UK. I think it was Earl's Court, wherever it was. And Regal was on the show. And playing bad guy at the time, which he mostly did for most of his career. But the pop he got when he come out, and I was like, do you know what? I love that. And that was the first real experience I had of, like I said, a hometown hero and how much, like, he's going to be the babyface tonight. He's going to be in the heel 364 days of the year, but tonight he's the babyface.
Certainly, indeed. And let's not forget, he's a real man's man. That needs to be the theme music that he comes out to. For those that remember the terrible 1998 gimmick. But yeah, absolutely superb. William Regal is a must. Who's your non-wrestler?
This is the only correct answer. It's Jim Johnston. That guy defined a generation of wrestling music, being able to come out with some of the greatest theme songs today, which are still fondly remembered as the greatest wrestling entrances of all time. You think of the Shattered Glass from Stone Cold, Jim Johnston, The Undertaker's music's do you know what I mean? He is influential in so many Hall of Famers music that it is a crime that for how long he's not been a part of the company, he's never been inducted into the Hall of Fame.
I absolutely love that suggestion. It's a must. He needs to go into the Hall of Fame. Some of my favorite music from WWE ever has come from this guy. And like you say, when you listen to some of the music that we've got today, man, we wish we had Jim Johnston still doing themes in WWE. Would be incredible. I have a different answer for this one. Probably less likely is the fact I've got then, William Regal was my last selection, someone who's currently active in WWE with doing work. This person's also active with what they're doing in WWE, but I think he's done so well on commentary that I think that, and he's been there for over like 30 years now, it's time for him to get his flowers and get his Hall of Fame speech. Of course, I'm talking about Michael Cole. Michael Cole has literally gone above and beyond to have to listen to that man for however many years, probably shouting in his ear to do his best to give us entertainment through our headsets and through our television screens, to now seemingly more relaxed over the last few years under the Triple H era, and arguably it's been putting in some of his best work. He's got great relationships working alongside the likes of Pat McAfee, John Bradshaw, Layfield. He's worked with Taz, he's worked with Corey Graves, he's worked with Wade Barrett as well, and always, no matter the partner he's given to dance with, he seems to make it work. He's probably the key of making that two to tango, if you will. And look, if we take away the orange singlet as well, which probably needs to be mentioned, I think that certainly with his announcing side of things, certainly a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's not even one that crossed my mind just because of the pure fact he's still active. That's probably the reason why he didn't come to my mind. But dude, honestly, he will go in the Hall of Fame one day. Whether they do it next year or not, I don't know. Like I said, they normally wait till they retire. But if they do it next year, I wouldn't be angry with it.
The only reason I've gone for ones that are currently still active is in recent Hall of Fame years, we've had Rey Mysterio and we've had Paul Heyman go into the Hall of Fame. So that's my reasoning for it. For those that are wondering, well, hang on, why are you picking active people? Yeah. So last but not least, then, Immortal moments. What WrestleMania match will you go for? Obviously, the first one was this year, which of course was Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin from WrestleMania 13. So what one will you go for this time?
I could easily go for Taker Shawn, but I'm going to go for one of my favorite WrestleMania matches of all time. I'm going to go with TLC 2. Look, it sums me up in one word. It's such a good match, and like I said, when we've talked about it before, that I can go back and watch this and I will still pop the same way I did 20 odd years ago. It's such a good match, and it just has. I mean, it's always part of the highlight reels whenever we talk about TLC or chairs match or ladders matches, whatever. Something from that match always pops up.
It certainly does indeed. It's only a shame that Adam Copeland and Christian Cage obviously are currently still under AEW contract at the time of recording. So I don't know if something has to change there for that to become a possibility. But however, TLC 2 is one of my favorite WrestleMania matches. And I think without question, that is going to be in the Hall of Fame for this category at some point down the line, whether it is next year or a few years down the line. I'm just like you, by the way. You could go with Taker Shawn. It feels like it's the right answer. WWE did this at 50 greatest matches at WrestleMania. Brett and Austin was at 2, so you think it would make sense to put Taker Shawn in, as it was voted number 1 from WrestleMania 25. However, I do feel that that's a slightly lazy option for myself at this particular time, and I've gone with a match, and then I've got an honorary mention. So I'm going to actually say the match that I've got that's going to go in is the one that everybody goes to when they want to, I don't know, get into pro wrestling, get inspiration, take something from one era that seems to go through every generation and still stand out. It's from WrestleMania 3. It's Ricky Steamboat versus Macho Man Randy Savage for the Intercontinental Championship.
Great shout.
It's a superb match, incredible. Like I say, for the technical masterclass these two are. I mean, this show was built around Hogan versus Andre, and to be fair, at the end of it, everyone was talking about Steamboat Savage. So for me, that is the one that I think WWE, I've listed it at number 4 in the top 50 WrestleMania matches of all time. So it's certainly in the top 5. So I think it's certainly one, if it's not next year, it's within the next couple. But certainly I think for itself is one that does stand out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a piece of art more than anything, let alone pro wrestling. And there is a couple of, like, that we've talked about before that, do you know what I mean, we could easily pick, but there are circumstances which will probably stop them from going in anytime soon. But that is, do you know what I mean, they're both Hall of Famers. They are both well within their rights to be put in again as a moment. So yeah, it's a great show.
Certainly indeed. Honorary mention, I'll mention, not because it's the greatest match, but if we're going to talk about moments, you can't ignore the moment of WrestleMania 18 with The Rock and Hulk Hogan. In Toronto, it was incredible. Rock going as the face, Hogan going as the heel. Arguably WWE versus WCW, although Hogan has all that lineage with WWE, but it was of the NWO incarnation at that moment, and the fans just wanted old school red and yellow Hogan. Rock was being booed out of the building on that night, and just the energy and something, it was a WrestleMania moment. It was special, and it's something that in this category, regardless of if it's next year or in the next 5 or 10 years, WWE will honor this match. It's in that top 50 of greatest matches in their opinion. And I mean, whether you like or dislike people involved, I think it comes down more to anything of when The Rock is there to make that speech rather than anything else.
Yeah, agreed. It's yeah, so it's almost like a case of waiting for The Rock to be inducted before they do it. But again, it is one of those moments in WrestleMania history that, again, and you just type in WrestleMania highlight reel, and it's one of them moments, and it's every single one of these moments undoubtedly will get in. It's just a case of choosing your favorite, really, more than anything else.
Absolutely, indeed. There. Well, before we wrap up the video, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to hit that like button, share our event, subscribe as well. Let us know your predictions of the Hall of Fame 2026. It's 1 full year away, so let's get creative. Let's get weird in the comments. Let me know. I'll put the template of all the categories, and you can just add the name of who you think will be next to it from the pinned comments in the comments section. NXSteve, give us the rundown then of your names selected to go into the Hall of Fame class of 2026.
So my headliners were Bray Wyatt going in as the headline performance act. My female would have been Mickie James. My tag team would have been the Nasty Boys. My mid-carder would have been William Regal. My non-wrestler would have been Jim Johnston. And my honorary moment or match would have been TLC 2. Can I just add quickly as well? I've got to give them a shout out, really. I've got 6 names here that I didn't mention for mid-card. And I'd feel criminal if I didn't say them. Ken Shamrock, Raven, Brian Pillman Jr., Billy Kidman, Bam Bam Bigelow, and this is a real wild card one, but I know they love to do it. Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Love all of it. And Tanahashi will go, I think, will go in the Hall of Fame. They've done that with Liger, so I think Tanahashi will get it. I think that's actually really, that could be a bet that could be something that could actually be an outsider's chance, but something that could actually reap rewards for people. But hey, if you do it, gamble responsibly. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, what a hell of a lineup there. That would be an awesome Hall of Fame ceremony if that was going to be the case. My names there for you are John Cena, Mickie James. I've gone for Demolition, William Regal, Michael Cole, and of course the Immortal match, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Macho Man Randy Savage. So that's our Hall of Fame feelings. Let us know yours now in the comments below. Thank you for watching, look after us and each other, and we will see you for the next video. Take care.